Welcome back to another episode of ESPN College Football Storytime, as we have to share a very heartfelt story about one true man who lived through something many Americans go through that is very hard to deal with. Today we bring you a story from Fayetteville, North Carolina, of a man by the name of Timothy Sutton. Sutton was born on February 15, 1975, and is 42 as of a couple of months ago. Growing up, he loved to play sports through elementary school and middle school, but as his transition to high school, that love was altered as something all of us take lightly happened. At age 8, things started to go downhill with his parents, and eventually they decided to get a divorce. Over half the marriages in the United States end in divorce, so this is not an uncommon thing, yet it is very emotionally straining. As we had an interview with Timothy, he says this had taken him away from his family because they didn't pay attention to him as his parents were getting remarried. This disrupted his life in high school and also had some long-term effects on him as he used these things as learning points. He used this experience to shape how he would be as a parent of his own, as he knows how he was treated, and he didn't want to put his two boys through this. Now, adding to that, he learned how to forgive people and not hold on to the past because it is irreversible. The first impact of disrupting his life in his early stages of high school was a big impact on his life later because this disrupted his focus on school and he was not getting the grades he was capable of getting. Sutton's parents were too preoccupied with themselves and their new husbands and wives that they didn't care what his grades looked like and how he did in school. Divorce causes teens to feel a variety of emotions. Sometimes they will be angry at their parents and other times they'll be sad. Also, they might feel that divorce is their fault and they are the only reason. This triggered him not to hang out with the right crowd, and as he was doing things he probably shouldn't be doing. He had also lost interest in playing sports and decided to quit doing these things, as he now later regrets. This caused him not to have the best grades and get into a great school, so the only college he could get into was East Carolina University, where he continued to wish he did better in high school. He ended up transferring to NC State and finishing his degree there. Now this is the part of the story where Sutton was brought closer to his family because he wanted to ensure he didn't put his children through the pain he went through. He used his past experience to shape how he was as a parent. You can imagine the pain he went through, so he most likely didn't want to replicate that. Now usually people who experience divorce have long-term issues, but Timothy here was strong and did not let that happen to him, as he did not let it get into his head. This brings us into our final effect of forgiveness. He learned how to forgive people. He learned that you can't hold on to things even if they hurt you. You can't hold grudges because you cannot change the past even if you tried. Things happen for a reason, and he says you need to forgive everyone because they can make bad decisions from time to time, and we are all human and we can't help it. Now, thank you for tuning into this episode of ESPN College Football Storytime as we discuss this topic of divorce. This is not to be taken lightly, but goes to show how it can take people away from homely family and also bring them closer. Thank you. I'm Alex Lowell, and we'll see you next time.